YouTube. You caught me sitting on the couch again trying to buy some real estate as usual. Today it is on the Landa app. If I've talked a little bit about this, but they're finally acknowledging that I have money that I've been trying to give them. It seems like that money is going to go through. And so I've started to search for a property in earnest. Although, if you're used to watching me buy stuff late at night, which I've done a few times now. It's a little disappointing because I went to do one a little bit earlier and found out that their market is only open during like regular market trading hours. So I'm going to have to plan this a little bit better. Obviously, I can hit the buys here. They won't go through tonight anyway. Um, my funds are still pending, although they've at least acknowledged that they're coming now. So it doesn't matter anyway. But I wanted to share with you what I think one of the more interesting opportunities I've found so far. And I don't know. Um, I joined the Discord just a few days ago and realized, there's a lot of people that are not happy in general on Landa with the state of like how their dividends get paid out. I guess they don't always hit the day they expect them to, and there's a lot of properties that aren't paying out, and they don't really fully understand why. So I can tell there's going to be a whole lot for me to learn. I might be telling you stuff that if you've been on here for a while, is old news. But one of the things I'm going to try to do is pick out what I think are interesting real estate opportunities. Because, like I've been telling you, I'm not an expert in, um, any of these platforms yet. I'm spending a lot of time on some of them, but I'm certainly not an expert. What I do feel, I can give you an expert opinion on is real estate. And it is, it's something that I've been investing in properties for almost 20 years. I sell properties as my day job almost exclusively to investors. And so, obviously I'm not telling you whether or not you should buy or sell these, but I'm giving you an idea about what I'm looking at, the due diligence I'm doing. I'll let you know if I decide to buy or sell it. It doesn't mean it's the right decision for you, but it does, hopefully it'll show you some of the thought process that I like to use when working with properties here in San Antonio, Texas, and I'm going to try to apply that to other markets and show you why I think this is a good or a bad market or that sort of thing. Um, so the first thing, I spent quite a bit of time just digging around, looking at some different properties, and one of the ones that I think is a really interesting opportunity is actually multiple properties. If you zoom in here, you can see we've got a 21. And what is that? That's really weird, right? It's a whole bunch of properties all in one spot. I'm going to pull up one of them. It's this 8655 Ashley Way. There are, as far as I could tell, trying to collect some data on it, but there are 21 addresses in this neighborhood that they own. Um, I'll explain. I think that's a really interesting opportunity. This is, looking at it from above. I'm actually fairly certain, although I didn't check every single address, that the ones with the new roofs, I don't know why it's roofs, but are the ones that they own. Maybe not 100% of them are that way, but it is interesting to see. It looks like most of the ones that they have, they've at least replaced roofs. They're all at different, they're all, some are leased, some are for rent, some are renovated. There's at least one eviction. They're priced wildly differently. Um, it's really interesting. And so one of the reasons that I think this is a neat opportunity is, I'm on these apps in part because I want to get, I want to be able to share with people that want to invest in real estate, but maybe aren't ready to buy a whole property here in town, aren't in a situation where they can house hack or do something else that I think is probably going to be better for them. But they want to get some real estate exposure. I think these platforms, today Landa, but other days Lofty and Ground Floor that I've been looking at, I think that there's some good opportunities there. Um, and so one of the things that I've started to learn playing with Lofty a lot is being able to buy small pieces of properties in a market where the price per piece is, you know, it seems like this price moves pretty wildly relative uh, to the prices of the real estate in real life. And so one of the things, in general, I'd expect every property in this neighborhood to behave somewhat similarly in the very long run. They were all built the same year, as far as I can tell. It's going to be the same neighborhood. Now, one property might be a little bit more desirable than others because of size, or maybe where it is, maybe the cul-de-sac's not as nice, or maybe, there might be some small variation, but in general, I'd expect this to behave all very similarly in the long run. And so one of the things I'm going to try to do is look for mispricing in some of the units. So for example, I think that the owners of a lot of these shares look at whether or not they get their dividend as the main driver of is that valuable or not. And so some of the properties that are vacant but have already gone through a renovation and are for rent still have a relatively low price. Um, Even in situations where they have a cash reserve. And so comparing those to some of the ones that are fully rented, there in general there shouldn't be a big difference in the prices if the units are the same. Now there are several different unit sizes. You can see, they range anywhere from 1,376 square feet all the way down to 717 square feet. So, there's going to be a lot to work out as far as what the pricing should be. But I think, once I do a little bit of analysis and really sort of figure that out and figure out, is there a real premium being paid for certain units and not others, we'll be able to peg what the value, either on a per square foot basis or maybe for each bedroom, each size. And then as the prices fluctuate, be able to pick them up, at a discount to what I expect the value of each unit to be. And so this is going to be really neat to be able to do it with these because, I'm going to basically think of this as being a single property, like as if you're buying into a multifamily property. Now, that's not the case in actuality, but it's a way to think about it in that, it's all should perform relatively similarly. Whether, which one I'm getting shares of at any given time, I'm not going to be, over the very long term, I'm not going to really care which property is. And so it is. And so as I, now we'll have to make sure, um, there's not a really large, renovation expense that's going to go on in one, and that's why the price is way down. But in general, in the long run, I think everything's going to, it should behave pretty similarly. And so I'm going to take those opportunities where certain ones are mispriced and sort of and try to pick up more of those units. Now, this obviously goes against the benefit of having geographic diversification. Um, so I'm not going to spend too much on all of these combined. I might put as much as, in general, I've been buying about $1,000 worth of a property, sometimes more. And I'm trying not to put too much in any one at this point because it's still very much an experiment. But at this, but maybe I'll just try to spread 1,000 across this whole little community and just pick it, treat it sort of as one property. Maybe I'll do. We'll have to see as we get into it how good of a deal, and it's possible once we complete the analysis that I don't think it's a good deal at all. So it's going to take me a little while to get through all that. I'm not going to talk about, probably not going to come to a conclusion on it today, but I want to share some of the first things that I did as far as looking at the market. Um, I did look at okay, I spent some time just looking at the map, trying to figure out where it is compared to um, Atlanta in general. One of the things I pulled up the Wikipedia page. One of the things that struck me as an interesting fact is most of the main employers are just are just retail stores, and so that's going to give you an idea about what your tenant pool is going to be like there. I think that you're going to have a lot of people that work retail. You might have some people that are commuting into Atlanta or something like that, and making it going to different employers that way. But one of the things that we always look at is the census data, and we've had really strong growth here in Douglasville, which is where those ones are. Um, that's one of the things I just love to see, right? When you have strong growth, but if you look, you do have a lot of green space, and so um, whether or not there's going to be a lot of new builds competing is one of the things that we want to think about. But in general, always love to see that. It's a very strong, and it's a strong trend too, right? It's not like we had some dips. It's just been going really well. And then I think I looked at this the other day, but the metro area in general, just looking at the is that what this is? Greater Atlanta Metro? Yeah, Metro Atlanta. Um, Wait a minute. Oh yeah, okay. That's just how it's designated a little bit different there. But if you look at the growth trends there, population trends, again, it's grown very strong. And even in the last 3 years, to go 3.6% in that time, it's a tremendous amount of growth. And so it's one of the reasons that I'm attracted to Landa in general is because they have a lot of properties in the Atlanta region, and that's one spot where I've always wanted to invest there, and I've never had the opportunity. So pretty happy about that. Pretty happy about some options in Charlotte and and I think this is all Birmingham market. Yeah, Birmingham, Charlotte. The New York ones I don't necessarily know that I'll look at those. But I'll probably look at them, but I don't think those are going to be ones that are going to be early in my process. And so, oh yeah, I'm getting an error when I'm trying to pull something up. That was what that was. But so in general, I think this is an opportunity for a few reasons. I think, the fact that we have, the chance that they really are controlling almost an entire neighborhood here. And I think over time, there's a good chance that they will pick up more. I don't know. I don't know what happened actually if this was done as a package. They're in different states of, in different statuses. Some of them have been sold out, but like if I switch and filter for just the IPOs, which is like when they're doing their initial offer, there are still some that fall into that category. So I think they might be continue. Yeah, this one here. There's several, but so I think that um, what happened there? That's interesting. We're getting some bad. It's pulling up some wrong data there. How about this one? Yeah, there we go. And so it seems like this was one that they bought after the other ones, right? Because this is just an initial offering. And then so what is this one? 86.97. Let's look on here. Oh, why can't I see the numbers? If I zoom in more. Yep, there we go. 86.97. So at least here, this is one with an older roof. So that's kind of interesting in this picture, um, which was 2024. Let's see. So I don't know whether or not that was replaced after the fact or not. I don't know. It's the first one that I checked though that is with the older ones. Almost all of them that you check have the newer ones. So it leads me to believe maybe they just haven't replaced it yet. I think that I can't open any of these yet. So when I try to open these up, it's not working out, and I don't really understand why. I've sent in a complaint basically. Um, I had been able to the other day, and then I can't today. So I just think there's some sort of error. So I'd focus for it. But in any case, it seems like they're continuing to pick up more. If at some point they get to operate this whole thing basically as their own apartment complex because they own them all, they'll have uh, better control over rent and the quality of tenants and anything like that. So I always like these opportunities when someone's just picking up individual townhomes. I think there's the potential for an outsized profit by doing something like that. Um, so we've got that going. It's got a very strong market. Very strong submarket growth inside of a market with strong growth. And then, so past that, I'm going to have to start looking into. Oh, I still have the IPO filter. I'm going to get rid of that. So then, I've actually, one of the things that I've noticed is their IPOs are all priced really high. Okay, let's go back and look at this. So let me, I'm going to have both the trading and the IPO ones open. And so let me show you what I'm talking about here. So like this one, okay, and this is one of the things I've realized is you definitely have to ignore their, um, where is it? Oh, where did that go? Where their 97% sold? Oh, this is not on the market, so it's not showing. That's why it's not showing it. Is this one available? Oh, that one is, but that's 2021. Okay, here's one. And that one's not yet available either. It does seem one of the things that I've noticed about this site, even though there's a lot I like about it, there are a lot of these little glitchy things. So let me see. And actually, some of these I was able to pull up. Well, let me just look at my data that I have. This is it's a couple days old now, or a day old. No, I did this early this morning, so it's not even a day old yet. But so, but I didn't mark them. You can see I'm trying to add a bunch of info, but one of the things that I haven't added yet is whether or not it's an IPO or not. But in any case, a lot of the IPOs are just priced. Um, can't be offered for. So, man, that is crazy. I can't pick one up that's given me price per share right now. Um, but we don't need the price per share. So I was going to try to point out that the price per shares don't add up, right? But one of the things you don't really have to do that. You can look at like the total offering cost, right? Like so, at their current price, it was 218,000 for this one. Well, let's look at one. Yeah, let's look at another one. I think this is the same style, and we've got. Oh, where's our total? I'm not so used to this site yet. And so this one, total market cap 141,000, right? Um, this is just one that's existing in trading. It seems like it's very unlikely that this home should be $60,000 or more less than the other one we just looked at. And so that's where I think that there might be some potential. Right now, I'm not sure because it could be that 141,000 is still overpriced, right? Like we're going to have to start looking at market prices for these properties. So just like what I would usually do, going to look at. I'm going to do this for every single one of these. I'm obviously not going to do it while we're on the video because that would just be take forever. Okay, so this says estimated market value 113.9, right? So and a rent's estimate of 1330. So what is this? They're actually renting it for 1540 and they think it's worth 141,000. So way, a significant amount different. Let's go back and let's look at homes.com for that same property. See what it says. Okay. See, so these are all over the place. 175,000. Um, usually like homes.com. So that's interesting. Let's see what Realtor has to say. Oh. Uh, oh, this is really interesting. Estimates popped up for a whole bunch of them. Um, so what, 8679. So let's control F. 8679. 143. Okay, that's an 143, 124. Okay, so that's super close to this. Okay, so we've had one quite a bit high, one pretty low, one right on the money. What does Redfin think? Oh, and actually, these are not, it doesn't keep bringing up. Why is it giving me different ones? Why can't it find 76? That wasn't even the right one. Was this 8693? This wasn't actually, but this one was the right number and this one was the right number. Um, and obviously I could go to the site and pull that specific one up. It's just really weird that that's not what it's doing. Okay, do this again. 679. Check this out on Trulia. What do they think? Oh, 113. Okay. They're using the same math as Zillow, I think, right? And so, and then do they give us appraisals in here? Let's show all documents, loan agreement, tax extension, operating agreement, management service, dealer offering, property operating agreement. No. They do give us leases too, so that's interesting. Look at the leases. These are, oh, did they download that for me? Look at that, it actually downloaded. That's the first thing that I've clicked on that didn't give me an error. See, this is the error I keep getting. The fact that it just downloaded that lease for me is amazing. But so this is great. The fact that they have four, so this is one that they've had since 2021. I actually really like. Okay, this is actually the most recent one here, where they signed a new one in February. So yeah, this, obviously I have quite a bit of work to do on these. I just wanted to share today, what I think the opportunity is going to be here. This is going to be, normally I haven't been doing multiple part videos, but I just think I've got so much work to do on these because it's looking at a whole bunch of different properties as if they were one property. I think, like I said, I think it's a really interesting opportunity. And hopefully, at the end of the day, we'll figure out a price that will be, a price that I'll be happy to start picking up any one of these at. It'll probably be a price per square foot, or it may be that I identify, three or four of these that are the lowest priced ones, and they're the ones that I target as they come up. I'm really not sure, but I think that it seems like there's going to be some opportunities here, and really it's going to be interesting because it'll be, um, it's a little bit of diversification, but all with the same general profile. So in any case, I think that's all I'm going to share with you about what I've got going on here today. Hopefully on Monday, I'll have finished all my research and be able to pull the trigger on a couple of these if if my money's actually finally unlocked in there. I mean, it does seem to me that Landa is super glitchy. The fact that it took so long for them to acknowledge I have a deposit coming and to verify my bank account and everything was a little worrisome. The fact that a lot of the documents don't pull up right, and then just the sheer number of people complaining in Discord was a little bit worrisome. But overall, it seems like they're pretty decent property opportunities. It seems like pricing wise, just from what I've looked at in general, it seems like there's going to be some opportunity. So if this one doesn't pan out, I guess I started with one that is a little bit more of a bear than I probably should have. I just got really excited about. I think it's interesting to be able to uh, potentially, build a real big position in something that I'm doing the work once, and it basically applies to every home in that neighborhood to a certain extent. A lot of the due diligence will, and then it's really an opportunity where if I start buying into them and they're doing well, there's significantly more of them that I can buy than having to start picking ones in other parts, in other areas and having to guess again. So, hopefully it'll work out and it'll be one that I can put quite a bit into. But if not, they have a ton of other opportunities that we'll explore. Um, and I'm sure along the way there'll be a lot that I'll learn. And if you're already looking at these properties, if you already own some, I know a couple people have talked to me that are already investing on Landa that have been watching. If you own some of these, if you have some opinions or some thoughts on um, maybe anything that I need to look into, oh yeah, we didn't look at the flood map too. Let's do that while we are thinking about it. Let's see, FEMA's Service Center. This is something like I know I talk about this all the time, but you should do it every single time. A property came up yesterday or today on Lofty that looks really good, but it has a really questionable flood profile. There's the front lawn and the street has flooding, and then behind it there's a AE zone, and so I was not comfortable with that at all, and was like the only reason that I decided to opt against it. I'm trying to figure out, are there flood zones that just aren't loading or not? That's why I'm wiggling this around. It doesn't seem like it. Okay, city limits. It always worries me when I'm not seeing any anywhere, because this site tends to be very glitchy. Let's go back up here. Oop. And again, this, like I said, I mean, I think this, I'm going to do some quite a bit of due diligence while we're not watching, but I think that um, it's important to, just kind of give you an idea of the things that I'm going to check every time. So I'm going to download that, and then, we're starting to get it. Okay. Oh, what happened there? Okay, good. So now the flood plains are starting to fill in, so I don't even need to worry about that download. But that's one way. Usually, if you download a picture and then you look at it on here, it won't, you'll know you have the whole thing if you do that. So it looks like we're pretty good in that regard. I wonder if some of these on the edge, it doesn't look like they're affected, but that's something, it's something I always just want to keep in mind. Especially if I'm going to build a big position here, you want to make sure, something like that's not going to come and wipe it out. In any case, I think that's the last thing we're going to check on today. So until next time, I'm going to keep making mistakes so that you don't have to.